wrong with Torgor? He seemed well enough when I last saw him. Trouble with the ledgers. Shouldn't he be asking Otto for help? See the pair that got hauled into tires? I got your note. You think something's wrong with Torgor?
So you can read. Congratulations. But I didn't say I were wrong with him. I said something weren't right. He's not been eating me treats. He used to love cracking the bones from Molly's boiled brown, but now he won't so much as look at them. Didn't like him. Which is why I'm of a mind that his mind's on something else. You've not been working him too hard, have you?
No harder than usual. Is that it, boy? Do you need a rest?
What was it you said he was? A frost wolf?
That's what the lawsman seems to think.
Then maybe this all has something to do with whatever it is that's woken inside him.
I suppose things have been different since Rosalith. Perhaps Hippocrates knows something.
Instead of everything, you mean? Perhaps.
It seems the hideaway has lost its appetite.
Is a storm coming, Sid? Will there be thunder?
Lawsman, I need to ask you about Torgor. Something's not right with him.
He isn't ill, is he?
I don't think so. But according to Lady Karen, he seems to have lost his appetite, which is certainly a new development. She says he's hardly been touching his bones of late, and she believes it may have something to do with what happened at Rosalith Castle.
I rather think she might be right, though not about his appetite. All canids are instinctively inclined to crack open bones for the rich marrow that resides within, and I see no reason why a frost wolf should be any different. Accordingly, I suspect it is not a lack of appetite that afflicts Torgor, but a surfeit of it. If we assume that his newfound magics require additional nourishment to sustain, it may well be that the bones Lady Karen is accustomed to providing are no longer sufficient. Frost wolves, after all, habitually prey upon far larger animals, whose bones may yield altogether different nutrients. As to where one might find some antelopes that graze the meadows of eastern Rosaria have been known to grow to a size more than double that of their lesser cousins.
I don't recall ever seeing any that large.
And little wonder. The oldest and largest such creatures rarely leave the safety of the highlands for fear of predators. The last elder antelope sighting I recall hearing about took place near Cressida, and that was long before the village was abandoned.
Even so, it seems like a good place to start.
Good hunting, Clive.
Did you see that? Tell me you saw that. Did you get my letter?
That's why I'm here.
Shh. Otto might be listening.
Is this better?
A little. Listen. I've some bad news. It turns out the Hideaway may be slightly behind in its payment to certain lenders. And it may be my fault. But I swear to the goddess, I thought I had the numbers square. Sadly, that square turned out to be more of a circle. 0, you might say. I can straighten it out, I swear, but it's going to take some time, and I'm going to need help keeping it from Otto.
Bit late for that, I'd say.
There you are! What a surprise!
So let me get this straight. You forget to pay our lenders what they're due, and instead of coming straight to me, you get Clive to come to you. And I hope he'll dig you out of the hole you've dug for yourself. Clive, the man in charge of the place you've been cheerfully trying to bankrupt. And you thought this was a cunning plan. Why? Well, who needs paying?
Oh, just Martha. And the dame. And, well, Lady Karen. But only 500 talents.
We owe 3 of our most trusted friends 5 million gil.
Each. 5 million each. They lent us the bulk of the money we used to rebuild the Hideaway, you see, and, well, I must have made some sort of oversight.
Those ledgers were my responsibility, and it was my decision to entrust them to you. This is my fault.
Do we have that much to hand? I can always ask my uncle.
No, we don't. And no, you won't. We've lightened Lord Rosfield's purse enough. After the king's ransom we had off him, he deserves better than to see our begging bowl. Besides, we'll need to learn to stand on our own if we're gonna make this work.
All right. But that doesn't mean you have to shoulder the burden yourself. Is there anything I can do to help?
There might be. How'd you fancy taking these to Martha and the dame?
Rocks.
Rocks, he says. Worth 1,000 talents apiece, these are.
A little something Sid and I set aside for when times got lean. And I reckon 15 million in overdue debt probably qualifies. I just hope our associates' eyes are a bit more discerning than yours.
I'm sure there will be.
Should be me making the rounds, really. But you know how it is with this place. Orders to bark, arses to wipe and all that.
I know. Which is why I don't mind going in your place.
Go. Do you know why I only gave Master Clive here 2 star rubies?
Because you'd rather Lady Karen killed me.
Because I'd rather Lady Karen killed you. Yes.
Well, I suppose this is goodbye then.
Don't worry. I'm sure Karen will understand.
Really? Do you think so?
What do you make of them skies then?
Yellow when it's what? Should call back the scouts. All of them.
All this fuss over a few dark clouds.
Here, Sid. Reckon you might be just the man to help me out of a bit of bother, if you've a mind to.
Let's hear it.
Well, it's about this alembic the chief's got me making. Lovely bit of kit, it is.
bung in a solution you want splitting, and it will separate it out, just like that. Problem is, it won't always get rid of all the impurities. And with some of the stuff we need it for, that ain't good enough. Which is why I've been looking for something to filter the liquid we'll be cooking off. And that's where I was hoping you could help me out.
I imagine Ty could get some use out of this alembic too. Distilling medicines and the like. All right. Why not?
Proper job!
So what exactly do you need for this filter?
Nothing but bomb ash'll do, says the chief. Gave me a sample she'd obtained from the university stores. Couldn't believe my eyes. You pour the blackest blight water through it, and it comes out clear as a mountain stream. So, I did a bit of reading about where I might be able to get hold of some. And do you know what I found out? It's only the blimmin' bones of a bomb king. They leave them behind when they die, see?
I take it that's where I come in.
If you wouldn't mind. I saw a billet on the hunt board for one just the other day. Would have gone myself, but, well, fighting dirty great balls of flame isn't exactly my forte. You, on the other hand...
All right. I'll see what I can do.
Thank you kindly. And good hunting, eh?
Otto, how fares the realm?
The realm? Oh, she's just fine. As long as you look past the fat storms out at Mother Crystals and her skies are a roiling cesspit.
And Gav?
He's with your uncle in the Free Cities, helping Mid with her project. Sent an owl their way the moment the winds turned foul. Still waiting on a reply, though.
Do you have any good news?
Well, that depends on your definition of good.
All right, fine. What do you suggest we do?
Oh, no, I'm just the messenger. I leave the scheming to those more suited to the task. Could be that Lady Vivian and Old Tomes have their own thoughts on the current state of things. Could be that they don't. It certainly can't hurt to ask.
I suppose not.
How is it that every one of your little excursions presages some inexplicable catastrophe? Not that you are to blame for the Dominion's fate. No one could have predicted the actions of the Crown Prince.
I'm sorry I couldn't save your home.
My countrymen are stronger than you think. A few toppled clock towers won't break their spirits. They'll be back on their feet in no time.
I hope so.
Look at us. Bluer than a pair of bog crabs. Tempting though it may be, sulking will not help us find a solution to this mess.
You believe there's one to be found?
I don't know. But I am certain we're more likely to find it if we first examine the facts.
Beneath these darkened skies, fear and confusion reign over Valisthea.
Oh, the lands around the fallen mother crystals had already begun to wilt for want of ether. But not like this. Crystals that filled wells and fueled furnaces. Now nothing but pretty shards of rock. And those that hang from the people's necks cast nary a glimmer of light to keep the dark at bay. It is only a matter of time before the common folk convince themselves that the end of days is upon us. Yet I fear a swift end is more than we can hope for. While most of the world thirsts for ether, spawning Akashic in droves, and amidst the hordes of mindless beasts, with magics as like to fail as function, even the strongest nation would falter. Rosaria and the Iron Kingdom teeter on the brink of collapse, while the tragedy in Twinside has all but paralyzed the Holy Empire. Dalmekia fares little better. Rumor has it the ministers fled the capital after the fall of Drake's Fang, leaving their beloved republic to crumble. Waloed, meanwhile, moves in earnest. The Einherjar has been sighted off Storm. The world, in short, is in chaos. It would seem our civilization was nothing but a castle of sand, to be washed away at the whim of the waves.
A castle of sand.
Not my best flourish, but it seemed fitting. The reports I've received are considerably more blunt in their appraisal. Without the protection of their nations, it will fall to the people to defend themselves against those who would take what is theirs.
Which is only ever going to end one way.
Defending a farmhouse against a band of chocobo thieves is one thing, but pitchforks and palisades will do little to stall an army's advance. Should the King of Waloed deign to invade, there would be none to stop him.
None but us.
There's a storm coming, Sid. Will there be thunder?
Let me guess. You're here about the skies.
Is there anything you don't know, Lawsman?
It doesn't take a court astrologer to augur the obvious. As for what has disturbed the heavens, that, I believe, is a question the Fallen might be better placed to answer than I. And on the 6th day did the gods tear the sun from the firmament, visiting darkness upon their prideful sons and daughters. But I dare say you remember your childhood lessons on the sins of Zemeckis only too well.
You think they're connected? That Ultima was one of the gods responsible?
Well, he has certainly exhibited powers that we mortals would associate with the divine.
There is nothing divine about him.
But he wouldn't be the first god of whom that could be said, now would he? Yet for all the fairy tales that tell of the sins, there is almost nothing in the way of actual historical accounts. Had I the Journal of Moss the Chronicler, I may have been able to tell you more, but alas, I fear all remaining copies have been lost to time. You will forgive me, I hope?
Certainly not. Because there is nothing to forgive. Even without this journal, you've provided us ample wisdom. And we will always be grateful for it. Perhaps Otto will be more inclined to share his thoughts when he hears what the others had to say.
Clive, we have a problem.
Only one. That would be a first.
It would. Actually, there are three. We had as many owls arrive while you were at the shelves. Martha's got a Kashik out her gates, and talk of monsters roaming the hills outside of Northreach has put the wind up Isabel and her lot.
And don't forget Dalimil. Lubor says the village was raided by bandits.
When it rains...
It fucking pours. The curse breakers are spread thin, taking stock of the damage in the Dominion. And even if I could get word to all of them, I doubt they'd get here in time to make any real difference. Which means... there's only two people who can.
Jill and I.
Let them know we're on our way.
First we find Isabel.
Heard a bloke saying he saw ghosts on the far side of the wall.
I saw it with my own eyes. Then a wall won't stop them.
And what can I do for you? I'll be here if you need me.
I can't do it. But you can.
My lord. Milady.
We received the dame's message. There have been sightings of strange creatures, I understand.
With the blue eyes. Yes. Like a Kashik, but different. They've taken so many. I've lost count.
Akashic, but different.
Ultimus thralls. And what of your mistress? Is she here?
Oh, no. She went to the garrison to ask what they were planning on doing about all this.
Then we'll look for her there.
We could leave. The two soldiers were carrying another. He didn't have any legs.
That thing?
Madame! Been slaughtered by those things. We lost the captain this very morning.
We've tried requesting reinforcements, but there's been no word from the capital or the Dominion in days. What more would you have us do?
I would have you do your duty. Those at the Vale look to me for protection. And protect them I shall. Because they are my charges, and that is my duty. In case you have forgotten, the people of this town are your charges. But more than that, they are your people. Your sisters, your brothers, your lovers. So you have a choice. Lay down your sword and watch as they are slaughtered, or take it up and do what is right.
She speaks the truth, you know. This here, it's all we have. It's all that's left.
What we have left is our lives. Do you really want us to lose them as well?
Not if we don't have to. Look, there's a cask under the captain's bunk. Let's talk about this over a drink, eh?
I'm listening.
I'll have a word with him.
Ah, Clive. I didn't expect help to arrive so quickly. And sought to take matters into my own hands.
It was a noble effort, but I thought you might still need some support.
How like you to consider my needs.
What we need to consider is where the creatures came from.
The way the survivors speak of them, one would think they appeared out of thin air. And perhaps they did. It's hard to know what to believe these days.
We'll talk to the survivors.
Did you see the creatures that attacked you?
Creatures? Yeah, They came out of nowhere. They went for Joseph first, then me, and then they were just gone.
Do you remember where you were?
On the road from Oriflamme. We just passed Moor when... Where's my Joseph?
It's all right. Just rest now. It's all right.
My family.
You're a pikeman, yes? What happened?
I've got family in Moor. I heard the flood was spreading, so I went to see if they were all right. And a pack of them glowing things found me in the meadow. I ran for my life. I never did get to the village.
Leave that to us.
At least we have an idea of where the thralls might be now. We should head for more.
Come on. Faster!
Do you think there are more?
There are always more. But I'd say we've done what we can for the time being.
Then we should let Isabel know.
You have the town's thanks.
Don't thank us yet. There will be more. Many more. And you'll need to be ready for them.
Oh, we shall. Isn't that right, Captain?
Yes, milady. The garrison will be ready.
Philippe here has convinced most of the men to remain at their posts. For now, at least.
Hearing that the Dame would look kindly on any man who committed himself to the task certainly didn't hurt. It's not the most selfless of motives, I'll admit. But whatever it takes, eh? Now me, I never needed convincing. I became a soldier to protect the people I love. And the people I love include the ones standing before me.
Handsome and chivalrous.
Now, if you don't mind, I have sentries to post. Milady.
Lest you wonder, I'm not foolish enough to believe that this has solved all of my problems. But it has solved one, and that's one fewer than I had this morning. Thank you again, Clive.
I'll be taking you all to a storehouse in the Bales. Leave anything you don't need behind.
Nothing like a little unrest.
Let the dame hear you say.
There were ghosts at the gates not days ago. Those things I said before about not being able to fight.
Come on. Fly, Ambrosia. Time to fight. It's certainly quiet. If I were a giant antelope, it would seem like just the place. I doubt we'll find one bigger than that. You hungry, Torgal?
Get him! Go, Torgal! Get him! Get him!
Now. Will it be enough, I wonder? I say that answers my question. Which means we owe the lawsman our thanks. You're just a big puppy, aren't you? A very big puppy. You do know you can take that with you, Torgal. Lady Karen will be relieved to hear you've got your appetite back. Come on, boy. You all right, boy?
This man's gonna die if we don't get him to a healer.
But all our beds are taken.
Martha. It's good to see you.
And you, Clive. Jill?
Otto said you'd been attacked by a Kashik. What exactly happened here?
Those skies are what happened. Not long after they fell dark, we had our first visit. There were hundreds of them. Tried to storm the hill. Only a handful made it up here, but that was more than enough. The rest are still down there now. And while we have a few willing fighters holding them back, they're sorely outnumbered.
What do you think, Clive?
That we join the fight?
I thought you'd never offer. Now, where I need you is the Fallen Gate. That's where the fighting is fiercest. Let the men know you've come to help. Something tells me they'll be pleased to see you.
We're on our way.
Do you think there are as many as Martha says?
More.
How do? Fare thee well.
You don't think they've abandoned us, do you?
Them not.
Not a chance.
Clive, wounded.
We deal with the Akashic first.
These men don't have the look of hired swords.
If you've come to rob this place,
You are mistaken, my Lord Rosfield. We're here by Madame Martha's leave.
how do you know my name?
Forgive me, my lord. There wasn't time for introductions. We're with the Guardians of the Flame.
Wade's men? But how did you come to be here? Where is your commander?
Sir Wade left earlier with a scouting party to find out where the Akashic were coming from.
Did he? Take your wounded back to the inn. Martha will see you're looked after. We'll join you anon.
And to think you took them for thieves. A fine reward for holding off the horde, that is.
When did Wade and his men arrive?
Not long after Rosalith fell. The Guardians asked me to shelter some of them that had lost their homes. They were making ready to leave just as the skies turned, and we agreed it was best we stuck together.
Martha! Trouble! The scouting party's almost at the lift, but they got a pack of Akashic snapping at their heels! And they got wounded with them! They're not gonna make it!
Damn it all.
We'll worry about them, Martha.
You look after everyone here. If any can still fight, send them to the lift.
I will. You two be safe now.
My brothers. Shh, don't try and talk.
Mad dogs, the lot of them.
Squire, I need you to get those who can still walk up the lift to Martha's. But what about... I didn't ask, Oscar. Sir.
Sir Wade.
Lord Rossfield. If you aren't a sight for sore eyes.
Martha seemed to think you might need some help. And by the looks of it...
We thought we could sneak by them. But we didn't know there would be so many. How could we have?
Behind you!
Damn it! We need to get the injured to safety.
Do you think we can hold them off?
We can certainly try. Are you with us, Sir Wade?
Always.
Then let's do our duty.
Is anyone hurt?
I don't think so.
And yet again, you've pulled me from the flames. It's just a pity I keep walking into them.
You've never been one to shy away from danger, Sir Wade. Like any shield worthy of the name.
I see you're all in one piece.
Martha!
Is something wrong?
The lookout saw smoke coming from down Eastpool way. Too thick to be a hearth.
A second horde.
Feel like finishing the job.
Always.
Jill and I will make for Eastpool. You'll need to move the injured without us.
Don't you worry about them.
The moment my men are safe, I'll follow. Good luck.
Mad. Dogs. A lot of them.
My...
This man's gonna die if we don't get him to a healer.
But all our beds are
long is this going to take? My friend's dying!
So are a lot of folk.
Just patch me up as quick as you can and get me back out there.
They're headed for the rest.
We have to slow them down. Martha and the others won't be ready.
Something's coming.
Apologies, my lord. Did I miss anything?
Only the first round, so wait. Shall we?
Get him! This one. Go for it! Go for it!
Do you see any more?
No. I think that was the last of them.
But it won't be long before the next lot arrive.
Then we make for Martha's while we can.
What did you find out there?
The same as Sir Wade. Scores of Akashic.
Well, wherever they came from, they're gone now. Our lookouts say the lowlands are clear. Hopefully we'll have enough time to lick our wounds.
How many of your men were injured?
A damn sight less than if you hadn't turned up. Thank you.
It was a hard-fought victory. But as long as the skies remain dark, I fear the Akashic's numbers are only going to rise. It's not a matter of if the Horde will be back, but when. And whether that's sooner or later, we'll need to be ready. The inn here affords a good view of the land, and is easily defendable. I'd like to make this one of our outposts.
What do you say, Martha? You'd have more men to guard the rest.
Well, when you put it like that, of course they can stay.
My lord, there's someone I'd like you to meet. Oscar, over here. It is an honor to make your acquaintance, Lord Rossfield. I am Oscar. Oscar of House Murdoch.
Murdoch? I wasn't aware the Lord Commander had children.
Oh, he didn't. But his brother, my father, did. I am Sir Rodney's nephew.
Well, go on then. It's not for me to ask him.
Yes, Sir Wade. If it please you, my Lord Marquis, might you take me as your squire? I would learn the duties of a shield from the finest.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, Oscar, but I am a shield no longer. Nor was I ever the finest. And spending time in the company of an outlaw hardly seems a fitting education for one aspiring to take his oaths.
My Aunt Hannah once told me that a man is not defined by his title, but what he does in its name. You have accomplished much since taking on the mantle of Cid, winning no little honor in so doing. And I would sooner serve under an honorable outlaw than an unworthy shield. Not that Sir Wade and the other Guardians are... I mean to say that, they're...
It's all right. We know what you mean. There is only so much the boy can learn from me, my lord.
But a squire...
Would that really be so bad? You were a squire once. And I'm certain Sir Rodney would approve.
Know that I'll show you as much leniency as your uncle showed me.
I would not have it any other way.
Cid, your new companion appears much more formidable than your uncle. Should I be worried?
You haven't been introduced.
Told me much about you.
All lies, I'm sure.
Your Stolas said that Dalimil has a bandit problem.
Indeed. Although, you're a little late. They left with our food and guild days ago.
Any idea where they went?
The desert's a big place. Your guess is as good as mine. But the fact is, I have more immediate concerns.
What did you say to me? What did you say?
Ah, as if by magic. Let's just say we've yet to reach a consensus about how to solve Dalimil's little problem. And at this rate, it won't be the actions of the bandits which prove to be our undoing. It will be our own. I've tried reasoning with the dissenting parties, but even the Desert Hare has limits.
Perhaps we could talk to them.
What makes you think they'll listen to us?
What makes you think they won't?
She makes a fair point, Cid. And you won't have wasted much of your precious time if you fail. They're just across the courtyard.
Suppose we just follow the shouting.
You wouldn't talk like that if it had been your men whose throats were slit. Blood for blood, it's the only way. We hire mercenaries and have them mount the bandits' heads on our walls as a lesson to the rest.
And what happens when those mercenaries are slaughtered like your men? Are you going to hire more? We're better off using that coin to buy food and supplies. If we hire mercenaries, the only thing we're buying is the bandit's ire. And you cannot fill empty bellies with that. Do you hear me?
But what happens when they come back? Maybe it'll be your throat that's slit.
That's enough. Both of you. Any more of this and I'll throw you out myself. Come back when you're ready to talk like adults.
Victor. What's he doing here?
Sid. And Lady Jill. What brings you here?
I was about to ask you the same thing.
Costness is in chaos, and the markets have all but ceased to operate. The Briar's Kiss here in Dalamil is the only place I can reliably obtain supplies. I was here to do just that when Master Lubor told me of his troubles. He thought I might be able to talk some sense into these fools. But if you're here, I suppose his patience must be waning.
Who are those people?
Those were the thorns in Lubor's side. And the reason this place might be headed the same way as Costness. It's these accursed skies. The darkness is enough to drive a man to madness. Or an entire city, for that matter.
We're still working on the skies. But in the meantime, perhaps we can find a solution to Dalamil's problems.
I hope so. For all our sakes.
Fucking thieving bastards.
So, you see my predicament?
What I saw was a room full of people who were angry and afraid. And with good reason by the sound of it. But if left to smolder, that anger and fear could set the entire town alight.
My thoughts exactly. What to do? Both sides wish to protect their homes and livelihoods, if only they could agree on how. But as long as they are divided, we are vulnerable.
And if there's one thing bandits like, it's an easy target.
What would Sid the Outlaw suggest?
Well, if it were my namesake, he'd let them choose for themselves, and be on hand to pick up the pieces when it all went wrong.
That sounds like a recipe for disaster.
A recipe for disaster is precisely what it is. But perhaps that realization would be enough to make them question the ingredients. While it's plain neither Conrad nor Natalie will countenance the other's proposal, it may still be possible to make them doubt their own. Before presenting them with a third option.
And that would be?
To pool our resources and save the city ourselves. Why fight each other?
When all that fear and anger can be directed at the bandits.
It appears we have a plan of action. Victor, pay Conrad a visit. See if you can't convince him of his folly. I'll speak with Natalie.
As you wish.
Your faces are not well known in this town. That may prove useful. Don't worry, Victor and I will do most of the talking. You need only play along.
Play along?
What he means to say is yes.
Picture it, Conrad.
Ah, here she is. The Lady of the Spear herself. Conrad, may I introduce you to Jane, commander of the Red Wings, the oldest mercenary guild in the Free Cities.
A pleasure, my lady.
The pleasure is all mine.
As I told you, I summoned the commander here from Canver to inquire about a contract.
Victor says you told him no. That there aren't any men left to hire. Is that true?
True as the crystals cracked. Nobles came and claimed every last one worth his salt. And not just from us Red Wings. You know of the 7 high houses. There must be 2 swords assigned each one. Granted, we have a few boys left. If it's boys you're looking for.
Well, Conrad, are you saying that Dalamil's finest cannot defend this town better than a gaggle of unblooded striplings? That a band of beardless youths could better avenge the deaths of your brave men than you yourselves?
Absolutely not. We'll show those bastards who they're dealing with.
I can't believe that actually worked.
Conrad's not what you call the brightest candle in the crypt. And there's a reason why I had you do the talking and not Sid. Well played, my lady.
My shop?
If I had my pickaxe, I would...
I mean, it may still be possible to buy something. Ah, here he is now. Natalie, allow me to introduce Lord Underhill of Randalar's prestigious League of Merchants.
Lord Underhill. At your service.
Underhill?
I was just telling the good lady of our conversation, my lord, and how you were lamenting the state of the capital's stores.
Lubor says that not only are the granaries almost empty, but that war and the Blight mean this season's harvest won't be enough to fill them for winter.
Indeed, certainly that is the case. The nobles in the capital are buying up the city's stocks of barley and wine, driving the prices higher than most commoners can afford. It is only a matter of time before the peasants revolt.
It is worse than I thought. If what Lord Underhill says is true, I fear we have little hope of supplementing our stores, meager though they regrettably are. And while I applaud your endeavors to dissuade our more bellicose citizens from seeking vengeance, I sense Conrad is not wrong in his assessment of the bandits' likely return. Which means that now, more than ever, we will need to secure what little we still have. Food, weapons, herbs, everything. If our humble town is to endure not only this hardship, but those that are certain to follow, we must stand united.
All right. If it will help to protect my home, I'll do it. But you needn't have gone through this charade.
Thank you, Clive. Your performance was nothing if not workmanlike.
She saw right through it.
I didn't say it was good, merely that it produced the desired effect. Now, my scouts should be returning shortly. Meet me back at the Briar's Kiss, and we shall see what we face.
I'm not convinced our roles in this ruse were entirely necessary.
I don't know. Conrad seemed quite taken with you.
It appears I have no choice but to do what little I can to defend what little we have.
Mummy, I'm scared.
Oh, I'm ruined.
Good news, Sid. Both Conrad and Natalie have somewhat gracefully accepted their new roles. With time, they may even learn to...
Time no longer appears to be the luxury it was before lunch.
I take it your scouts found the bandits.
Technically, it would be the bandits who found my scouts. It appears they march for Dalimil as we speak. All of them.
You're not serious.
They don't just want food, they want the whole damn town.
I have a favor to ask. I'm told the bandits march in two groups, one from the south and one from the desert, in a move doubtless intended to stretch our already gossamer-thin defenses.
Very well. Jill and I will meet those from the desert. But what of the rest?
The rest, my friend, the city shall fight. Together. The stakes, I concede, are high. But if this does not unite Dalimil, nothing will.
That is a lot of faith to put into those who had their hands around each other's throats but a moment ago.
Then it will be for us to see that their hands are kept occupied. And I do mean us.
I thought you might say that.
We'll hold them off for as long as we can.
And we will do the same.
They'll be at our gates before we know it. We proceed as planned. Pray that what we've planned
My shop.
If I had my pickaxe, I would...
Don't get yourself worked up. You need rest.
The women folk have come to welcome us.
I'll take that one.
He's all yours.
they mean to overwhelm us. This one. Over here! This one. Get him!
The townspeople. Could they have held out?
I don't hear any fighting. What do you think?
That we should hurry.
Natalie, I owe you an apology. You did well out there. The inn would have been lost had you not held the line.
Without you, there would have been no line to hold. You saved us, Conrad. You saved Dalimil.
We all saved Dalimil.
Conrad seems to have had a change of heart.
I'd say they both have.
I take it from your presence that our visitors from the desert won't be joining us either. Pity.
The plan worked, Sid. Granted, it only took an army of bloodthirsty bandits at our gate.
Calm now, Victor. Why quibble over the details? We are united, and that is all that matters. As for you, Sid, you fight considerably better than you act.
I'll take that as a compliment. Our friends seem to have things under control. For now, at least. Let's go and put Otto's mind at rest.
I noticed you and Torgal had gone off somewhere. Take him for a walk, did you?
You could say that.
So, Molly's leftovers weren't good enough, eh? That'll teach me for treating you like you're still a pup. All right, no need to shout. Now we know what you're after, I can see about getting some in.
Speaking of which, I brought one for later. Can I leave it with you?
You can, aye. I'm nice like that. In return, you can thank Tomes for me. The bloody know-it-all.
I was just on my way to see him.
Seems the hideaway has lost its appetite. Is a storm coming, Sid? Will there be thunder?
Ah, Clive. Were you able to locate your quarry?
We were indeed, Lawsman. You pointed us in exactly the right direction. And Torgal's been a very happy hound ever since.
Very good, very good.
Lady Karen sends her thanks, by the way, for your part in solving the mystery.
Ah. But that reminds me. After your last visit, I found myself pondering Torgal's talents. Do you recall our conversation concerning Lady Jill's role in Torgal's transformation?
About how she somehow woke the power within him.
Precisely that. A reasonable conclusion, I thought. But one which raised certain questions in my mind. You see, the Fenrir of legend served Shiva and Shiva alone. And while the powers attributed to him are certainly impressive, the records imply they are somewhat different in nature to those you described Torgal as having used.
What are you suggesting?
That Torgal may be the beneficiary of more than one Icon's power. Consider that in addition to Lady Jill, he has served as a loyal companion to you, your brother, and even the late Cid. In short, the Icons hitherto near at hand, or should I say at paw, have been diverse and plenty, and that number has only grown as the realm's dominance have fallen to your sword. One can but speculate as to how all of this has affected Torgal.
He has seemed more fierce of late.
And if I am not mistaken, he will grow fiercer still. We are fortunate indeed to be able to count him amongst our allies and not our adversaries.
Oh, he's more than an ally. He's a friend.
Did you see that? Tell me you saw that.
How may I help you today, Clive? Off you go then.
Was wondering when you turn up. Had owls from all our friends thanking you for your timely intervention. How is it you always manage to arrive at just the right moment?
Luck, I suppose. Any word on the rest of the realm?
Let's see. Storm's still crying out for Mother Crystals. The nations are still in chaos. And the skies are still the colour of a kick in the kidneys 2 days on. So...
Right.
Clive, we knew this was going to happen. Well, not the bleeding skies part, but you take my point. Now's not the time to second-guess yourself. Now's the time to visit the infirmary. Talia says your brother's awake.
Thank you, Otto.
So it was not Sylvester, but Olivier who served as Ultima's puppet. And when Dion learned of this, he sought to slay the fiend. Only for his father to take the spear that would have freed him. Enough to drive a man to madness.
Small wonder he hasn't stirred. I would be afraid to wake.
Had I but reached out to him sooner, warned him of the threat Ultima posed. But now, both an empire and her prince lie broken.
Joshua, what do you know of Ultima?
Very little, I'm afraid. Despite my best efforts. 18 years ago, as I lay buried beneath the rubble of Phoenix Gate, 'twas not death who came for me, but another. And it was while in my rescuer's care, I first heard of Ultima. I've been chasing his shadow ever since. Ultima is driven by some deep, dark purpose, and for whatever reason, it would seem you are crucial to his designs. He will stop at nothing to have you, even if that means toppling an empire.
But why me? What possible use could I be to such a creature?
That is one of many answers that have eluded me. Yet, I am certain of this. It is not mere chance. You were chosen for a reason. All dominants carry within them the might of an icon. Nigh limitless power, that is at once acutely limited. I wield fire, and only fire.
And I only ice. 8 wardens for 8 elements. But you, Clive.
You are different. You're special. Your abilities begin with the flames of Ifrit. But they do not end there. The fact Ifrit can even exist goes against everything we thought we knew of dominance. Perhaps Ultima has been waiting for one such as you, whose potential is truly limitless.
I've encountered that thing several times now. If it or he, as you say, needs me, why hasn't he claimed me as he did the boy?
Were I to hazard a guess, I'd say the two of you are somehow incompatible. His mind not properly attuned to your body.
His mind?
Mind, awareness, spirit, call it what you wish. But I believe Ultima to be an embodiment of the concept. It is why I struggle and fail to contain him here inside me.
I'm sorry. Inside you?
With every setting sun, I feel my strength wane. And though the Phoenix's flames mend the prison I have made for Ultima, they do so at a cost. We must find a means to bring an end to him before I meet my own.
What were you thinking?
It was that or let him take Clive. And I've always had a soft spot for my brother.
But that doesn't mean you should sacrifice yourself to save me.
Joshua. Clive, it's Gav. There's an army of Akashic at the gates of Canver.
Well, what's the short of it?
It's all Tyre told you. The capital of the Free Cities is under siege by an army of monstrosities. The City Guard are doing their best to stem the tide, but numbers ain't on their side.
What of Lord Byron and Mid? Were they able to escape?
No, but they're all right for now. They're hiding with Gav at midship.
We have to get them out of there.
And we shall. Otto, prepare a Stolas. Tell Gav to stay exactly where he is.
Understood.
Vivian, what's the swiftest route to the Free Cities?
That sounds like a question for the map. Look here. This road, through Tabor, should provide the least trouble.
Good.
What a coincidence. Tabor is exactly where I'm bound.
Joshua, Bed is where you should be bound.
You don't think I told him the exact same thing?
Were Tyre not such a talented healer, I would surely have been inclined to agree. But, thanks to her ministrations, I feel I may safely rejoin my attendant, who was to wait for me in Tabor if we became separated.
All right, we travel together.
Clive.
If he stays close to me, he'll be fine.
Thank you, brother.
I'll look after him.